All right, here we go. We're going to April 30th, 2022, Saturday night. It's around 9:30 at night. And we're going to the place I used to call home, Queens. No, I've never even been there.
We accidentally drove through it once.
We did?
Yeah,
I drove through it?
Remember?
Did we get shot at?
No.
Oh.
But it was at like midnight.
That's crazy we didn't get shot then. If it's at midnight, holy shit. No?
We were supposed to go around New York City, and we ended up going through New York City by accident. So it was not good. What's up, Jacob?
What's up, Jacob? All right. April 30th, 2022. We're going to Queens, 108th and 67th Street. Actually, we're going to this intersection right here. This exact intersection, actually. Mm-hmm. Like the crime that happens tonight is right here.
On the crosswalk on the sidewalk?
Yeah, okay. Right here, literally right in this intersection.
Okay.
Still see blood. Oh, there's literally a random glove.
Yes, there is.
So weird. This is such a shitty looking city, man. What are you doing, huh? Going to get a prostitute? You should be at work.
Can you get on with the story?
Okay. All right. It was a Saturday night, 9:30, and a delivery man right down the road, a block away at the Great Wall. It's a Chinese restaurant. It's a Chinese takeout food. A delivery man, his name was Zhiwen Yin. That is literally how you say it too. This man, Zhiwen Yin, he leaves the Great Wall and he gets on his moped and he drives. And right at that intersection that I showed you is right where, like if you turn in and take a left in that shopping center, right there is the fast food restaurant he worked at, the Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
So it's 9:30 at night on a Saturday. He's got a lot of orders. He's going to deliver just another one, and he takes his moped. And I can show you the video clip from the CCTV. I'll show it to you right now. This is of this delivery driver leaving and what happens to him. All right, so here he goes. What you're seeing now is this delivery driver leaving. The camera is kind of far away, but if you noticed, someone walked up to him, pointed a gun straight at his chest and fired. As he was going through the intersection, he was just stopped at the red light and he was about to cross the intersection, and some random guy comes up, shoots him right in the chest. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Now, there's a lot of murders that happen in Queens area. Everyone knows that.
Yep.
But this one's different, unique, not only because it's in the news right now, but because of the moniker that this killer received after doing this. And do you want to tell us what that moniker is?
The duck sauce killer.
The duck sauce killer. That's what we're talking about, the duck sauce killer. That's what all the papers called him, the duck sauce killers.
They all got on board with that right away.
So why do you think this man we're talking about tonight is called the duck sauce killer?
I believe it was because he was not satisfied with the amount of duck sauce provided with his Chinese food order.
Is that a good reason to kill somebody?
No, but duck sauce is fucking delicious. Whole lot of sugar. Mm-mm.
What else is it? Do you know?
I mean, it's like basically sugar. It's like a sweet and sour sauce, right?
I don't know. Sweet and sour is like barbecue, isn't it?
No, more sweet. Very sugary.
All right.
It provides life.
So tonight we're talking about the duck sauce killer. That is the moniker of this man. This is a photo right here showing how ridiculous this crime is right here. There's no reason this should have happened. You see his moped right there in the intersection. He's at the red light and you still see the Chinese food bag leaning off the moped there.
It's moped.
What am I saying?
Moped. I'm like trying to find the right time for me to interject. Thank you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Shram's not on here.
I let it go the first like 3 times and I felt like I should correct you.
Okay, well, so Shram's not on here, so I'm good.
She's going to re-listen to it. There will be a meme. She's going to add it to her running list. But yeah, moped.
Moped.
No.
I've been saying it wrong my entire fucking life.
Moped.
Have you ever heard me say it before?
I'm sure. I'm certain we have used the word in one of our 600 episodes before.
Fuck. I even know how to spell it. I know how to spell it with an E. I just thought it was moped.
But why? There's not an A there.
I don't know. That's because the family called it mopeds. I don't know.
Them mopeds. That's what it sounds like.
Mopedophile. Shit. All right.
I'm glad, Brandon, I'm glad you and I decided to say something at the exact same time. It deflected,
Why is my shirt
who
open
raised
like this?
it. I thought you were trying to show a little skin.
No.
Get some more subscribers. No, leave it unbuttoned. Maybe that'll help.
One witness.
Now it's all buttoned up.
Why are you saying thigh? Or what is it?
Tie.
Tie. What?
Tie, not thigh. Oh my God. Shram, when you listen back, you got 2 for the list.
What are you saying that for?
Moped.
Tie.
Tie. He's making fun of how you said it. Moped.
What is tie? I don't understand.
Pad thai is a dish.
Oh.
Because you're saying moped.
Oh, moped tie, yeah. Moped.
And it's moped.
Yeah. One witness that heard the shot saw a Lexus SUV speed away right after. So you already said that this is the duck sauce killer.
Correct.
At first, the police thought it was some kind of robbery or one of the many murders that happens in the area every year. However, nothing was taken, as you saw on the bike. He still had all the stuff on the bike and his wallet was still in his pants. It's not a robbery. It would have been better if it was, because at least you can explain that with some logic of why it happened. But they quickly figured out who this was that did it. And his name is going to be the duck sauce killer, but his name is Glenn Hirsch, and that's who we're talking about tonight.
From the Queen's Chronicle, the DA said Yan dropped off the food order and returned to the scooter and rode away. He then stopped at a red light on 67th Drive and 108th Street. Hirsch allegedly left his vehicle and approached Yan, who reportedly recognized him and started to back away on the scooter. Prosecutors allege Hirsch then fired a single shot, striking Yan in the chest.
Glenn Hirsch, 51 years old. The timeline on this whole event is as followed. He drops his wife off at work. His ex-wife, they're separated. Drops his ex-wife off at work between 7:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Then he was caught on camera driving by the Great Wall restaurant 7 times, stalking, just driving in circles around it 7 times. And then right before 9:30 p.m., the delivery man, Jan, left to make his delivery. Hirsch got behind the scooter and followed him. Now, they had trouble finding Glenn Hirsch, the duck sauce killer, at first because they knew what apartment he lived in, but he didn't show up for a while. I guess he was trying to lay low. So anyway, they interviewed their neighbors, and the neighbors said he is not a friendly guy at all. He always appears rushed. He doesn't want to talk to anyone. He's a loner, and he's just not friendly. So anyway, after this man, this duck sauce killer, shoots the delivery boy, he goes back to his wife's apartment to store the gun that was used. And that's going to be really important because if you're wondering why this case is in the news now, is something to do with the wife. That's the newest developments.
Okay.
So he's known as a duck sauce killer. That's what all the papers are using. So let's talk about that argument. Like, what actually happened, and did it warrant a murder of a delivery man and a husband and a father of 3?
Certainly not, whatever it was.
This is the argument. The manager, Kai Yang, 53, says that in November, 5 months before, a man comes in and picks up an order of Chinese food, and at the front, right by the door, there's a concession bar with duck sauce in little packets.
Yep.
And it's free. You can take as many as you want. So this man gets his Chinese food. He grabs a handful of self-serve duck sauce only to return minutes later. And this is what he says. This is from what the manager recalls.
"You didn't give me enough duck sauce," the customer said, according to Yang. Yang tried to calm the man down, telling him the sweet and sour orange condiment was free of charge and he could take as much as he liked. The customer was unsatisfied and rejected Yang's offer to retrieve more duck sauce from the back. "I want a refund," Yang recalled the customer saying.
That is why he killed for 5 months. So this was in November, and the murder happened April 30th. For 5 months, this guy has been stewing over something that wasn't even anything. There was duck sauce there. He grabs some. He walks out, walks back in, and complains there's no duck sauce. So For 5 months, he has been stalking, threatening, driving by, slashing the manager's tires, and now he murdered the delivery man who had nothing to do with the whole argument to begin with.
Wow.
The guy who died had no idea who this guy was or no idea about the argument.
Oh, very different from the impression that I had.
Yeah.
Which was like, it was an immediate reaction to either one is psychotic. This one's like even more twisted, honestly.
It is crazy.
The actual version, I suppose.
This is a 51-year-old man who is driving a Lexus SUV, who lives in an upscale apartment, one of the richest that I've seen in one of the neighborhoods. Him and his wife live there. They live in 2 separate apartments. Upscale, rich guy. He gets in an argument over something so trivial. The manager refuses to give his money back because why? What are you talking about? Just take more duck sauce. I'm not giving you your money back. Glenn Hirsch gets irate in the Chinese restaurant and dials the police. The manager thought it was over until January 28th when it started again. And Hirsch came back with a gun, put the gun in the manager's face, damaged the restaurant locks, and then slashed the manager's tires, which he would do 3 more times before actually murdering this delivery man.
Oh my God. Jesus, what a psycho.
Yeah, right. Holy
what
shit.
What in the world?
Jesus, fuck. Fucking nuts.
Jeez. That's really frightening that it got to that level.
Yeah. The manager, Yang, said he fought back when this man brought a gun, dragging the man out of his car and then taking his picture, which he provided to the police. He also gave the police Hirsch's license plate number. Well, what do you think they did?
Nothing, I guess.
Now you see why this is maybe a little more, a little more complicated. I'm going to tell you about the victim here. This is really sad. You already know he's a husband with 3 kids.
Yeah.
But let's just watch that little video clip again and tell me if you think the wife, now widow, if you think her life is going to be any better now that he's gone.
Around 9:30.
Oh my God.
Still shell-shocked.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think she's going to miss him? She doesn't
I'd say
speak
so.
English. And all right, it's pretty sad once you hear who this guy was. The wife goes to the hospital for immediately after police tell her that her husband's been rushed there. He's got 3 children. The youngest is just 2 years old.
His now grieving widow spoke to CBS News. They told me your husband died. I told them they are lying. My heart broke into pieces. I told him, please stand up and come home with me.
Jesus, that's bad. You saw her. I mean, I'm not making fun of her, but y'all saw that. Like,
Heartbroken.
That's like real heartbreak, man. Yep. My husband wakes up every day and just works, she said through a translator, fighting back tears as she searched for a recent picture of her husband. He worked so hard he didn't have time to take a picture. Can you read the next one?
I keep crying, Zhao said, breaking down. He meant everything to me. He took good care of me and the family.
All over some duck sauce. This victim worked from dawn to dusk after he immigrated with his wife over to America to chase a better life for his family. I mean, that's the thing about immigrants. I don't want to just make this blanket assumption, but in a lot of cases, they work way effing harder than Americans. Not always, but I'm saying he was one of those who came over here, worked 3 jobs, taking care of children 2, 12, and 14, not missing a single day. He had not missed one day of work in 14 years. 14 years he has worked there, not making much. I mean, think about it. He's a Chinese delivery man getting meager tips, if best, going home, spending time with his family. And now look at the widow, now raising 3 children, can't speak English. What now? 14 years, not missing one day of work, providing for his family, raising his beautiful children, saving every single penny, every single meager tip. Finally, he made his dream come true and opened up his own coined laundromat so he can take his wife and his kids up to the next level.
Wow. They must have saved a lot. That's a lot of work.
Just opened up. And then a crazy maniac kills him for duck sauce.
He's such a wonderful, wonderful person. One customer, Jerry Kwok, 53, said at the restaurant on Monday, he would do anything for anyone. He really cares about everyone. The saddest thing was Saturday afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. My wife and I were in the lobby. We saw him. We said hi to him. Hi, how are your kids? And I told him to be careful up and down the scooter around Forest Hills.
I mean, crazy, right? There's plenty of testimonies about him, but I think we get the picture. Let's talk about the arrest. At first, like I said, police thought this was a robbery, but then they saw the surveillance video of a man, quote, circling the block around the restaurant 7 times. The truth was this crazed man had this bizarre grudge. Glenn Hirsch, 51, had a grudge against the manager, didn't even know the guy he killed. The guy he shot, the father of 3, has never even seen this guy, didn't even know about the argument.
The argument became an obsessive point of contention for the defendant, who began to stalk and harass employees at the restaurant for months, said Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz. The tragic end result was the murder of a hardworking employee who left behind a devastated family.
So, let me tell you a little bit about the killer's background. 10 arrests between 1995 and 2012, one involving armed robbery. He's not supposed to carry a gun. He has an armed robbery felony. He cannot legally own a firearm, but yet he shot this man in the chest.
But he took the gun from it was his wife's gun, or his ex-wife's gun, right?
Now you see what the recent news is. It wasn't her gun. He has 8 firearms that he had stored at his ex-wife's, separated wife's apartment. They live a half a block from each other. 8 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammo, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And he is not supposed to even have a firearm.
How does he even get it then?
I don't know.
Legally or?
But definitely not legally. But at this point, you see what the new trial is about. What's going on right now is actually not even his trial. It's the wife's trial. Because did you seriously not know that your husband had stored 8 firearms with hundreds of rounds of ammo at your place, shot this man, and then dropped off the murder weapon at your house? So now you kind of know what's going on in the news. She's facing conviction at this point. Investigators believe she was actually storing the guns for her husband because he can't legally have one. So what would you give this guy for doing this?
Life. I mean, there's multiple charges, right? He would have been in possession of like a firearm illegally, right? Obviously stalking, harassment, murder, life. I mean, when you add up everything.
What about a hate crime? Just throw that in there. That really raises the stakes. But here's the thing. He was facing 44 years in prison. He, quote, appeared agitated during his appearance. One of the biggest contentions in this case is that this was not going to be tried as a hate crime, an Asian hate crime, which would put him in prison for life. Here's the thing. The police knew about the gun.
They knew he was stalking.
He stalked them and
harassing the whole restaurant.
There are multiple reports at this point. Before the murder even happened, multiple reports saying this guy, who is not supposed to even own a gun,
right,
just brought in a gun and put it in my face. Yet this man has not been arrested. He has not been visited by police. They did nothing. So now
it definitely feels like the law was biased against.
Yeah. So now NYPD,
the restaurant owner.
NYPD, or the higher ups at least, now you see why the wife is on trial, because they got to try. They fucked up, right?
Yeah.
They got someone killed because they didn't
follow up.
They didn't follow up on these when this guy was walking in with a gun that he wasn't supposed to have and threatening and slashing tires. They didn't do anything. Now a man's dead. 3 children are left with a widowed mother, widowed mother. Now they're like, shit, we gotta do something. So now they're trying the wife, because husband in August 2022, a few months later, of course, he's let out on house arrest. His brother had paid a $500,000 bail. Rich people. He's rich. The brother paid $500,000. This guy, Glenn Hirsch, is in his apartment with an ankle bracelet in August 2022. He puts a big piece of plastic over his couch. He puts on vinyl gloves. He dresses up nice, takes a shower, gets something nice to eat, and then he puts a barrel of a revolver in his mouth and blows his head off. Kills himself 4 months after he killed this other man.
I don't remember that part of the story either.
So this guy's been dead for 2 years. So now you really don't have any justice, because the guy's dead. And not only that, he wrote a suicide note claiming he didn't even do it, which he did it. Everyone knew he did it. He definitely did it.
Definitely did it.
Exactly. And no one's questioning that. Can you read what his lawyer said?
His lawyer, Michael Horn, told the New York Post he left a long note, but essentially he became overwhelmed by the press coverage and the media attention and the rush to vilification, and he didn't take care of his mental health, which is obviously something he needed to do, and he became depressed and suicidal.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, so he's like, don't do anything to be put in the press about. You know what I mean? Like, don't murder somebody.
Yeah. I think why he killed himself is because he didn't want to be called the duck sauce killer. You know what I'm saying? He said he is trying to, in the suicide letter, he tried to exonerate his wife, saying she had no knowledge of the guns. Dorothy's now on trial, the wife. So the thing with the Asian hate crime, they definitely messed up here. They didn't investigate this as a serious matter, and this guy was stalking for months. And they knew about the duck sauce incident. They knew there were police reports filed. There's evidence. There's photos given before the murder. And this is from Jessica Zhao, president of Forest Hills Asian Association. She said, quote, they provided the police with photographic evidence and were rebuffed each time. They notified law enforcement that there was a man who was threatening them with a gun, and it turns out now he's being charged with illegal possession of a weapon. If you want to remove illegal guns off the street, this was the opportunity to do so, not after an innocent man has been murdered. And she said the killing was absolutely racially motivated. So, I mean, he kills himself, whatever, who cares? But they didn't even have him charged for anything until after the murder. And now, after the murder, they're like, holy fuck, let's charge him with illegally owning a firearm and murder. Like, that is too late. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you saw the widow.
It's too late.
The widow is really... So the wife is now on trial, and that's what's in the news. I will say a lot of the charges were dropped because she's not the murderer. She's not the murderer. She had the guns in the house. And I think what people are seeing is they're grasping for straws, trying to make anything stick so they don't look like total assholes. Yeah, she had the guns at her house. Maybe she knew about them. Maybe she didn't. It doesn't matter. She definitely didn't know this guy had just offed someone for duck sauce, you know. Anyway, she's in trial now. She's got a lot of the charges already dropped, but can you read what her lawyer said?
Dorothy's lawyer told the New York Post, as if this isn't bad enough, in Glenn's suicide letter, he detailed Dorothy's innocence. Fully aware that he was going to end his life, he was adamant that Dorothy was innocent, which we have always maintained and should be apparent to anyone who is familiar with the case.
Crazy, right? This is interesting right here. This is the Daily News headline from that day's paper, right? You see everyone's friend slain. There's a bunch of testimonies. But look at this right up here. Man killed over arcade game. I mean, why are people just killing people for just the most dumb shit, right? The wife is currently on trial for basically what her husband did. She's not going to get a murder charge or anything. She might get like community service or something. But what it's looking like is the NYPD, they're trying to make anything stick because now they feel fucking terrible.
Well, they should.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's too late.
But apparently that's the problem with the racial discrimination, even with the cops and, whatever.
They don't take it seriously.
They don't take it seriously. But I did this story obviously for the reason that everyone else does it, because he's called the duck sauce killer. It's very sad about the person lost. Definitely wish he was just a regular immigrant kid with no wife or kids. That would have made it better, maybe. I don't know. But the fact is, he leaves a widow who can't even speak English, and she's heartbroken out of her mind.
It's just senseless. I mean, we cover all of these people enraged at restaurants and fast food places over the tiniest shit all the time. You know, people pulling guns at Chipotle and throwing food. You know what I mean? It's just, I hear people so angry, right?
Over ducks. And the thing was, it wasn't even, I mean, this guy was stalking for months.
Like, dude, if you really have a grudge with over something that is so small, pick another Chinese food restaurant. There's 1,000 of them in New York City.
No shit.
And let that be it. If you're not satisfied, but like,
all right, leave a fucking 1-star review. You know, whatever.
But even like, it's just, it kind of makes you crazy. Like, what is wrong with people these days?
This is a 51-year-old fucking man. Shit. Driving a fucking Lexus and killing a guy who is working from dusk till dawn every day for 14 years, not even taking a day off, 3 different jobs. What the fuck? That is so shitty.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's really sad.
I was hoping to just ruin your day with that one.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Kind of a short story. We're gonna, some of these short stories are really interesting. Some of them are.
This was interesting.
Just kind of whatever. But I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, for headlines and more stories this week. See what's coming up, and still waiting on Jen to get back. But yeah, that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for being here.
Kind of run this shit.